Hello, friend, and welcome to the Sleepy Meteorologist. Tonight, we'll drift softly through a quiet wonder of the skies. Why lightning can strike the same place twice. A question that may seem charged with energy, yet unfolds, in truth, like a peaceful puzzle whispered by the clouds. Maybe your day has been long, or your thoughts feel just a little tangled, like wind weaving through tall grass. Maybe you've come here hoping to fall asleep to the hush of distant weather, or simply to rest your mind in something gentle. How's the sky looking where you are? Is there a moon out? Or perhaps just a soft, inky stillness? Wherever you are, and however you've arrived, you're welcome here. You're safe, you're held, and you don't need to hold anything at all. If these calming meteorology journeys bring you peace, you're welcome to like or subscribe, only if it feels easy. No pressure, just ease. For now, just snuggle in. Let your shoulders melt into the bed. Let your breath slow, like a gentle breeze through leaves. There's nothing more you need to do. You've already arrived. Let's begin. Let's begin by settling in. Take a soft breath and picture a sky thick with clouds, not rushing, not roaring, but drifting, like pillows in a slow parade. Above us, something ancient is stirring, something gentle and powerful all at once. This is the birthplace of lightning, but not as a roar, not as a crash. Tonight, we'll explore it differently. We'll think of lightning as a quiet ballet, a graceful motion of tiny particles moving through the sky, almost like a hush being passed from one cloud to the next. High above, where the air grows cold and still, water, droplets, and bits of ice are carried upward by soft columns of air. These particles swirl and swirl, rubbing gently against one another, like whispers brushing cheeks. In this soft friction, something invisible begins to build, a difference, a quiet divide. Some particles hold a tiny positive charge. Others become a little bit negative. Over time, the cloud becomes layered. Positives rise, negatives sink. A quiet tension spreads through the atmosphere, not dangerous, but expectant, like the feeling just before a snowfall, or the hush before a curtain lifts. This is how lightning begins. Not with a bang, but with a balance being sought. The earth below feels it too. The ground begins to answer the sky's growing charge with a charge of its own, softly, invisibly, like a tide you can't see. The space between cloud and earth becomes something special, a shimmering stage, waiting for the first dancer to step onto it. And yet, nothing moves too quickly. The electrons, those tiny building blocks of energy, hesitate. They test the space in slow, staggered steps. These are called stepped leaders, faint tendrils of possibility, reaching down in a zigzagging trail, like roots searching for water. Above, the cloud waits. Below, the earth listens. And in this slow, invisible communication, something beautiful begins to form. It's not chaos, it's choreography. Each particle, each motion, follows the physics of peace-seeking. Opposites yearning to meet and balance. The sky preparing to touch the earth in a radiant, fleeting moment. Some clouds release lightning inside themselves, cloud to cloud, or within their own layered charges. Others reach toward the ground, connecting sky and soil in one graceful arc. The kind we often see lighting up the horizon with a quiet flicker. And all of this unfolds in near silence, until the air itself speaks. After the lightning comes the thunder, a soft reminder that something beautiful just passed by. But for now, let's stay with the light. It's calming to know that lightning isn't an act of rage. It's simply nature seeking symmetry. As electrons travel, they restore balance to the sky. They don't destroy, they resolve. They dance their brief, glowing ballet, and then they rest. So, as we drift into tonight's quiet world, think of lightning not as a storm's fury, but as a lullaby of light. A story whispered through clouds, written in soft streaks across the heavens. It's the sky's way of sighing, releasing, resetting. And now, you too may let go of thoughts, of weight, of the day behind you. The storm above isn't here to scare. It's here to remind you that even in charged moments, peace can follow. Let's drift now, deeper still, to the moment when sky and earth meet. Let's float now into the very heart of the moment when lightning touches down. To many, it seems like an explosion, fast, loud, and wild. But let's take a softer path. Let's slow it down and listen to what's really happening. It begins with a quiet meeting. Above, the cloud has reached its peak of charge. Below, the earth waits with its answering reply. And in the middle, a question hanging in the air. A stepped leader, a delicate path of electrons, reaches down from the cloud like a hesitant hand in the dark. It doesn't fall all at once. It comes in pauses, tiny bursts of movement, like footsteps echoing on a bridge no one else can see. From the ground, the earth sends up its own tendrils, reaching back. When one of them finds the leader, they connect, and in that instant, the path is made whole. What follows is not a violent burst, but a radiant reunion. Energy flows freely now. Along the new thread, a rush of light, almost too quick to catch. But here, in this soft retelling, we see it clearly. It's not a strike, it's a sigh, a breath of resolution between sky and earth. The bolt itself, the bright flash we see, is called the return stroke. But don't let the name fool you. It's not harsh. It's simply energy fulfilling its promise, completing its circuit. The air around it glows with sudden light, lighting up the world in dreamy blue and silver. The strike lasts less than a second, but in that second, the sky is writing poetry in plasma. Heat briefly touches the air, hot enough to expand it, faster than sound, and that expansion becomes thunder, rolling out across the landscape like a soft drumbeat in the distance. But the moment of the flash, that is where the beauty lives. Each bolt is unique. Each one tells a different story. A gentle equation solved in real time. A perfect balance found and let go. Sometimes, multiple strokes travel along the same channel, flickering in quick succession. This is why a single flash may seem to pulse more than once. It's not repeating itself. It's refining, balancing further, the way we sometimes take a second deep breath, just to be sure. And when it's finished, the air closes around the path, like curtains drawing after a performance. The sky resets, the earth exhales, and all becomes still again. So as you lie here, listening or imagining, know that every flash you've seen is not a shout, but a soft sentence written in light. Not violence, but equilibrium. Not fear, but physics turned luminous. And most of all, a moment of connection between above and below, between charge and calm, between restlessness and peace. Drift with that thought, and let it guide you into the next quiet wonder. Let's drift now into one of the sky's quieter mysteries. Why does lightning strike where it does? To the eye, it may seem sudden, unpredictable, a burst from nowhere. But tonight, we'll slow it all down. We'll wander gently through the invisible landscapes of the atmosphere and uncover how lightning's path is shaped, not by chaos, but by quiet invitations. Imagine a world just above our heads, A world not of color or shape, but of potential, electric potential. It flows silently across the Earth's surface and rises through the sky. Like soft ripples across a still pond, it's always there, unseen, but always present. Now imagine a thundercloud overhead, full of gentle tension. Inside it, positive and negative charges stir and separate. The lower part of the cloud becomes filled with a heavy concentration of negative energy. That cloud doesn't strike at random. It's seeking a path, an opening, somewhere to let its energy gently fall and find balance. And below, the Earth answers back. In the presence of the charged cloud, the ground begins to stir with a quiet response. Objects that rise above the surface, trees, towers, rooftops, mountains, they begin to build up positive charge at their tips, like a flower tilting toward the sun. In that moment, they call to the cloud, not with sound, not with motion, but with a subtle electric whisper. Come here, I'm ready. Tall things are more likely to be touched, not because lightning prefers them, but because they stand closer to the sky's electric fingertips. They shorten the journey. They become beacons of invitation. That's why church steeples, skyscrapers, and lone trees in open fields are more often struck. Not by accident, but because they offer the easiest path. But it's not only height. The shape of the landscape, the material of the ground, the moisture in the air, all of it plays a part in shaping lightning's path. Even the tiniest differences can shift the way potential builds and moves. Think of it like this. Lightning isn't choosing a destination. It's following a suggestion, a soft pull, a guiding hand made of charges. Sometimes it reaches for a mountain peak that stood for thousands of years, quietly waiting under storms. Other times, it finds its way to a ship's mast or a rooftop antenna glinting in the drizzle. It's never angry, never random. It's a peaceful resolution to a buildup that longs to be released. And in that moment, when cloud and earth agree, the stepped leader reaches down. And if a welcoming point is near, it responds, reaching up. Where they meet, the flash begins, but not in haste, not with force, just with quiet precision. You might imagine the world full of invisible threads, like silk strands drawn between sky and earth, and lightning simply walks along the clearest one. So the next time you see a lightning bolt reaching down toward a hilltop, or hear of a tree touched twice by the same storm, know that it isn't chance. It's choreography. It's the sky choosing the clearest path, the softest answer to its silent question. And now, let's rest with that image. The gentle pull between cloud and earth, the quiet dance of potential. We'll drift onward to a question many have asked before. Let's settle into the heart of a familiar question. Can lightning strike the same place twice? Many of us have heard the old saying, lightning never strikes the same spot twice. It's poetic, memorable. But the skies, as always, have a different story to tell. One woven not in myth, but in calm and simple truth. Yes, lightning can strike the same place twice, and often it does. Let's explore why, gently and without haste. Picture a tall building standing quietly in a storm. Its tip rises into the air like a finger reaching toward the clouds. And in that stormy sky, electric charges begin to stir. The cloud becomes full of potential, longing to connect. The building, familiar to the sky, responds just as it has before, gathering positive charge at its highest point. Once again, it offers a gentle invitation, and the lightning remembers. That's what makes some places more likely to be struck again and again, not by luck or punishment, but by structure. by openness, by ease. The Empire State Building, for instance, is touched by lightning nearly 24 times a year. Why? Because it stands tall, because it calls clearly, because it's become part of the sky's routine. Nature remembers the paths of least resistance, like water choosing the familiar groove in a riverbed. Lightning too prefers the known. But this doesn't only happen in cities. In remote places, on mountaintops, ocean lighthouses, or ancient desert ridges, there are places where lightning returns. Quietly, repeatedly, these locations become part of a rhythm. The cloud knows where. The earth reaches up to meet it, and the earth knows how to receive it. Sometimes, even trees can be struck more than once, especially if they're tall and alone, standing in open fields, where no other object competes for the sky's attention. But none of this is fearful. It's simply the sky repeating its steps. There is something peaceful in this return, a cycle, a pattern. No chaos, just familiarity. Each strike is an act of balancing, not punishment. A single moment of connection, made easier by places that welcome it. So when someone tells you that lightning never strikes twice, you can smile softly and picture the spires and mountaintops touched by light more than once. Not because they're doomed, but because they stand tall and they remain open. And now, as you breathe slowly in the quiet of your own space, know that you too are part of nature's calm remembering. The lightning above is not hunting, it's harmonizing. The places it returns to are not cursed. They're simply easy to reach, familiar, trusted, like a bird returning to a branch it knows. Like a thought we think again and again, because it feels like home. Let this truth soothe you, and when you're ready, we'll float into the next gentle mystery of the sky. Let's drift upward together, beyond the rooftops, above the trees, up through drifting fog and silver rain, higher still into the realm of mountaintops and man-made spires, where the clouds brush gently against the edges of the earth. There, in that elevated stillness, lightning finds something familiar, a preference, a pattern, a soft pull toward what rises. Tonight, we'll wander through this quiet tendency, why tall places seem to call lightning more often, and how that calling is not chaotic, but calm, not violent, but rhythmic. When storm clouds bloom above us, they carry within them a gentle charge, built from tumbling droplets and dancing ice crystals. The atmosphere becomes a silent ocean of electric potential. Down below, the earth stirs in answer. Anything that reaches toward the sky, a mountain peak, a tower, a tree, begins to gather its own charge. The higher the point, the closer it gets to the ceiling of the storm, and with that closeness comes a quiet invitation. These tall places don't demand lightning. They simply make the journey easier. They stand as natural conductors, easing the gap between earth and cloud. And so, the stepped leaders from above often find them first. They meet in the middle, exchanging their brief, brilliant hello. The result is not random. It is the simplest solution, a graceful answer to an invisible question. Take a mountaintop, for example. High and alone, it may greet dozens of storms a year, not because it's dangerous, but because it listens so well. It offers a gentle platform for the sky's electricity to settle into stillness. Skyscrapers, too, are often touched again and again. Their metal frames rise into the electric zone, offering a well-lit path to completion. The lightning finds them, not out of malice, but because they're there, steady, waiting, reliable. It's like a trail walked by wind, chosen over and over, simply because it's clear. These tall places become part of the weather's rhythm. They are remembered by the clouds, visited again like old friends. Even lighthouses perched at sea and radio towers hidden among hills become part of this quiet choreography. And as lightning flows through them, they glow for the briefest moment, bridges of light between sky and ground. There is peace in this preference. There is beauty in the repetition. So, when we think of lightning and the places it visits most, we can imagine not chaos, but calm familiarity. The way a breeze finds the same bend in the valley. The way birds return to the same branch. The world above holds memory too. And in the silence after the flash, those tall places remain, unchanged, unshaken, ready for the next whisper from the clouds. Let's drift now to one of the most familiar of these high places, a beacon of light, touched gently again and again. High above the hum of New York City, a slender spire reaches into the mist. This is the Empire State Building, a place where earth meets sky, where weather and wonder pass each other like old friends in the dark. Tonight, it becomes our resting point, a symbol not of storm and noise, but of graceful repetition, of nature's gentle return. You see, lightning touches the Empire State Building more than 20 times a year, not because it is cursed or wild or unlucky, but because it's present, because it listens, because it rises. Let's follow the quiet pattern together. When a storm rolls across Manhattan, with clouds glowing dusky blue and silver above the skyline, the air begins to shimmer with potential. Invisible charges stir above the streets, brushing softly against the edges of the tallest towers. And there, like a lighthouse among buildings, the Empire State Building offers itself to the sky. Its needle-like tip gathers charge with elegant ease. Long before the first flash, it is preparing, reaching silently, collecting static like a strand of silk in wind. Then comes the moment of connection. From the clouds, a stepped leader reaches down, zigzagging softly, hunting not for chaos, but for resolution. And the spire responds. A surge of energy flows through it, brief, brilliant, and beautiful. The building glows, just for a blink, as if illuminated from within. In that instant, it becomes a bridge between cloud and stone, a silent stitch holding sky to earth. This happens again, and again, and again. Each strike follows its own unique path, but the destination remains the same. The Empire State Building is not afraid. It is not damaged. It does not flee. It remains steady, tall, serene. It has become part of lightning's rhythm, and there is something comforting in that. In a world that often changes, this tall spire offers constancy. It becomes a reminder that even the most powerful forces can form quiet relationships. That lightning, for all its brightness, can choose to return again and again to the same place, the same point, the same friend. Think of it like a tide returning to shore, like moonlight visiting the same window, like a thought we think, not because we must, but because it feels like home. The Empire State Building is not just a tower. It's a trusted path for the sky to touch the ground. It holds no fear. It holds no resistance. It simply receives. And then it waits until the clouds come calling again. So, when you hear of lightning striking twice or more, remember this place. Tall, quiet, open, familiar, a love affair between architecture and atmosphere, held gently in shimmering silence. And now, with that image glowing softly in your mind, let's follow the wind onward. To the next tender tale, the the sky is ready to tell. Let's begin our gentle climb. Not in haste and not in struggle, but with calm breath and quiet awe as we ascend into the high, hushed realm of sacred peaks. These are the mountaintops kissed time and time again by lightning, not by punishment, but by pattern, not by chaos, but by connection. Mountains, especially the tall and solitary ones, often find themselves visited by bolts of electricity. And far from being scenes of violence, these moments become soft reunions between earth and sky. Take Mount Thor in Canada's Arctic wilderness. Its towering cliffs rise nearly vertically, like a blade of granite slicing into the clouds. Or Pikes Peak in Colorado, wrapped in snow and silence, gazing down over vast plains that stretch like a sleeping quilt below. These summits seem to call the lightning back again and again. Why? Let's walk softly through the answer. When storm clouds form overhead, their underbellies fill with negative charges. The earth below responds with positive ones, gently welling up toward the clouds. And those positive charges, they gather best where the earth rises, where stone meets sky most directly. The tips of mountain peaks are often the closest points to the churning storm. There, the exchange is simplest, the connection is clearest, and so, lightning returns. Mountains become trusted conductors, drawing down the sky's restless energy and grounding it in stillness. But more than just proximity, there's structure, their shapes, sharp spires, jagged cliffs, ridgelines that reach like arms, make them ideal hosts for stepped leaders descending from the clouds. Some peaks, like Pikes Peak, are studied year after year for this very reason. Scientists quietly place instruments along their ridges to watch, to listen, to learn, and still the lightning comes, not with wrath, but with rhythm. Indigenous cultures have often held these mountains as sacred, not just for their height, but for their closeness to the heavens. Perhaps, on some level, they sensed this relationship, this electric conversation between the peak and the storm. Imagine standing there, high above the world, with your hands to the sky, the wind soft in your ears, the clouds swirling overhead, and then a moment of brilliance, a silent stitch of light between earth and cloud, and just like that, peace again. These mountains are not damaged by the lightning. They are part of its path, its story. Their rocks hold memories of thousands of flashes, and yet they remain quiet, noble, unchanged. So when lightning returns, it isn't striking down. It's reaching out, returning to the peaks it knows best, the ones that stand still, even in the storm. Let that be your image as you rest tonight. A high mountain beneath the clouds, cloaked in mist and silence. A place where light touches stone in peace. And now, let's float with the wind back to where the story begins, to the clouds themselves. Let's return now to the clouds, not the wisps we see drifting quietly on clear afternoons, but the grand swelling towers that rise during a summer storm, the kind that bloom like castles in slow motion, heavy with moisture, yet floating like dreams across the sky. These are the soft-built powerhouses of the atmosphere. Storm clouds, cumulonimbus. They are not just puffs of vapor. Inside, they are alive with motion, with charge, with quiet purpose. Let's drift gently through one now. Inside the cloud, air is rising. Warm, moist air, carried upward by invisible elevators of energy called updrafts. As the air climbs, it cools. Water condenses. Droplets gather, then freeze, then tumble back down, only to be lifted again. It's a soft, swirling cycle, like snow in a glass dome turned upside down. And through this motion, something quiet begins to build. Charges begin to separate. Tiny collisions between ice crystals and droplets sort positive and negative charges into different parts of the cloud. The top becomes more positively charged. The bottom becomes more negative. A quiet sorting of electricity taking place silently in the sky. The cloud is becoming polarized, like a battery, gently winding itself up. This isn't loud, it isn't angry, it's a graceful preparation. Each swirl of wind, each falling hailstone, each invisible current, all of it contributes to this gathering tension, this potential for light. But even now, there's no rush. The cloud is patient. It builds its energy slowly, like breath gathering before a sigh. Below, the earth begins to sense the change. Positive charges quietly rise from the ground. Trees, rooftops, mountains, they all begin to glow with potential the eye cannot see. The cloud and the earth are now speaking, in silence. Between them is a field of possibility, a space where lightning may form, but only when the time is right. Until then, the cloud floats, serene and massive. Its anvil top spreads across the sky, like the hem of a glowing robe. Its base darkens, not with threat, but with richness. Inside, the cloud continues its work, building, sorting, preparing. It may flash within itself, sending little sparks between its layers. Or it may reach out to another cloud, exchanging light in a quiet conversation between giants. And when the moment comes, when the potential becomes too great to hold, that's when the lightning is born. But for now, as we rest within its misty halls, we feel no danger, only awe. The storm cloud is not a beast. It is a cathedral of charge, a sky temple made of vapor and light. So, as you close your eyes and drift further into rest, imagine floating within one, wrapped in cool air and soft rumble, watching the energy gather like stars in a jar. No need to worry. The cloud knows what it's doing, and soon it will let go, with beauty. But for now, it floats, and so do we. Let's float now into the quiet heart of a thunderstorm, not into the noise, but into the stillness within the cloud, where something remarkable begins, not with a bang, but with a whisper. Inside every great storm, there is a gentle dance happening, a slow sorting of energy, a quiet separation of charges, not hurried, not harsh, just the sky taking its time, preparing for light. High above the earth, warm air rises, pulled upward into the growing cloud. These are updrafts, steady elevators of air, lifting invisible moisture and tiny particles toward the heavens. At the same time, cool air sinks. These are downdrafts, flowing downward like river currents in reverse. Inside the cloud, these opposing streams begin to mingle and spiral. Droplets collide, ice crystals swirl, a dance begins, and as they tumble together, these particles trade something invisible, electric charge. Some carry positive energy, others negative. Over time, the cloud begins to sort itself, like a painter slowly separating light from shadow. The top of the cloud gathers positive charges, light, delicate, rising. The bottom fills with negative charges, heavy, sinking, patient. This is charge separation. But it doesn't shout, it doesn't rush, it unfolds quietly over time, a slow drift of difference. It's as if the cloud is daydreaming, half asleep, yet quietly organizing itself from within. Outside, the sky may look calm, but inside, the storm is finding its rhythm, and in this quiet sorting, the cloud becomes ready for something more. Down below, the Earth begins to sense the imbalance. Positive charges begin to gather on rooftops, trees, even your fingertips if you're standing still enough. They're drawn upward, gentle and invisible, reaching softly toward the charged belly of the cloud. Between them lies an unseen field of potential, a space rich with possibility. But even then, the sky does not hurry. It waits, letting the energy steep, letting the difference grow. Only when the imbalance is great enough, only when the cloud has finished its soft sorting, that's when the lightning will come. But here, in this moment, we stay with the stillness, with the rise and fall of air, with the soft collisions and swirling crystals, with the whispers of separation, slow and purposeful. It's like the atmosphere is preparing a sigh, a beautiful exhale that hasn't yet come. You might think of it like a lullaby written in energy, a quiet prelude to a single note of brilliance. And in this quiet sorting, the cloud becomes a living structure, delicate, dynamic, softly alive with charge. So as you rest, imagine yourself floating there, high within the storm, gently drifting alongside a snowflake caught in the dance. No pressure, no fear, only soft motion, only whispered electricity, only nature preparing for peace through light. And now we turn our gaze downward, towards something else lightning loves. Water. Let's drift now, toward the shimmer of water. Across oceans, lakes, and rivers, we find places where lightning feels especially at home, where it touches down again and again with a kind of sleepy certainty. Why? Because water holds a special gift. It welcomes electricity with quiet grace. You see, water, especially when it contains dissolved salts and minerals, conducts electricity easily, not with a jolt, but with a smooth, fluid readiness. It becomes a pathway, not a barrier, a willing guide for the sky's energy to travel through. Imagine the surface of a lake during a summer storm. The clouds above churn softly in hues of blue and charcoal, and the water below mirrors that movement, trembling just slightly in the wind. A charge begins to build above, within the cloud. You know the story by now. Particles swirl, updrafts lift. The bottom of the cloud grows heavy with negative charge. Below, the water responds. A quiet swell of positive charge rises from the lake's surface. No sound, no color, just presence. It offers the perfect mirror to the storm above. When lightning finally forms, when that stepped leader begins its descent from the cloud, bodies of water make excellent destinations. They are vast, flat, and highly conductive. A lake does not resist the strike. It receives it, softly, completely. That's why you may hear warnings about water during storms. Not because the water is dangerous, but because it invites lightning so effortlessly. It says yes where other surfaces hesitate. But this ease is beautiful in its own way. It's not frightening, it's elegant, and lightning does not strike water with wild aim. Often, it reaches for places where land meets water, shorelines, harbours, docks, places where the atmosphere can easily close the gap between sky and surface. Even boats, especially those with tall masts, can become part of this connection. Not because they're doomed, but because they too offer height and path and possibility. Across the open ocean, lightning still finds its way. The sea becomes a canvas for the sky's brief artistry. A single bolt might light up the waves for miles, then vanish, leaving only a hush. And rivers too may guide lightning. Their winding paths cut through valleys, carrying not only water, but also a quiet line of conductivity through the land. Lightning doesn't love water in the way we love a person. but it prefers it for its openness, its ease, its invitation. So as you rest, imagine the surface of a still lake just before the rain. The clouds gather above, swelling with charge. The air holds its breath, and the water waits. Then, softly, surely, light touches down. Not in anger, but in answer. The water receives it, and the balance is restored. Let this be your lullaby tonight. A drop of rain, a sheet of still water, a sky that knows where to return. And from here, we drift forward again, toward the glowing trace that lightning sometimes leaves behind. Tonight, let's not look up, but down, beneath your feet, under fields and forests, stones and sand. Something quiet is always waiting. The earth itself, humming with a soft electric presence. When we think of lightning, our minds often rise to the sky, to towering clouds and swirling winds. But the story isn't complete without the earth, because lightning doesn't just fall, it's drawn. The ground plays a beautiful part in this atmospheric exchange, a silent partner in the sky's glowing dance. Let's explore it together. Imagine a thundercloud swelling above, dark and full of charge. Inside it, particles sort themselves gently into positive and negative regions. The bottom of the cloud, heavy with negative energy, begins to feel the pull of the world below, and the ground feels it too. You see, Earth is not passive. It responds, it prepares, it quietly begins to gather positive charge, especially at the surface. This isn't something you see. It happens invisibly, like the soft swell of music just before a note. Objects that rise from the surface, trees, rooftops, mountaintops, begin to build a tiny concentration of positive electricity. But even the soil, the stones, the grass itself, hums in answer. This is the ground's gentle invitation. It doesn't shout for lightning to come. It simply opens the door. Between the negatively charged cloud and the positively charged earth, a tension forms, like two hands reaching, not to fight, but to touch. And when the gap becomes narrow enough, the lightning follows. It travels along this difference, this invitation, this invisible longing for balance. And when the stepped leader, a faint, thread-like path of electrons, begins its journey downward, the ground rises to meet it. Sometimes, quite literally, little tendrils of positive energy, called streamers, reach up from the earth, like fingers stretching toward the sky. They aren't dangerous. They're soft, silent, and searching. The moment they connect, just for a heartbeat, the bolt is born. But it's important to remember, the lightning doesn't force its way. It's welcomed. The earth receives it, not as punishment, but as part of a larger rhythm. Some places invite lightning more easily. Sandy deserts, rocky outcrops, wet marshes, all offer different levels of conductivity. Some draw more charge, others hold less, but all of them speak. All of them answer the sky. Even beneath the surface, minerals and water shift how the earth conducts energy. The presence of groundwater or certain types of stone can make the earth more receptive, more ready to complete the circuit when the sky reaches down. So tonight, as you rest, you might imagine not just the clouds overhead, but the quiet invitation rising from the land below. A mountain humming, a field waiting, a tree gently lifting its branches into the charged air. The earth is not just a receiver of lightning, it is part of the reason it happens at all. Let that thought cradle you, that even the ground is full of softness, full of response, part of the balance. And as we move gently forward, we'll find that even the seeming randomness of lightning carries patterns of its own. Let's turn now to something a little more mysterious, to the quiet patterns hidden within lightning's return. At first glance, lightning seems wild, dancing from place to place without reason. A flash here, a strike there, gone before we can understand. But when we look with patient eyes, a gentler truth appears. Lightning, it turns out, has favorites. There are places it visits more often than others, not out of chance, but through subtle invitation. These are called lightning hotspots, and while you may not feel them beneath your feet, they exist, tucked into certain corners of the world, where geography, weather, and invisible chemistry combine to quietly ask the sky to come back again. Let's wander through these soft patterns now. Some places are warm, humid, and see daily cloud formation. Take Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela, a vast stretch of water surrounded by mountains. Here, lightning strikes with astonishing regularity, especially at night. The air, heavy with moisture, rises over the lake and meets cooler currents from the surrounding land. Clouds build, charges separate, and then lightning returns, sometimes hundreds of times in a single night. Other hotspots lie over flat lands, where thunderstorms travel freely, like parts of Florida, or the savannas of Central Africa. The shape of the land matters. Mountains can guide clouds, valleys can trap heat, coastal breezes can stir just the right conditions for daily electric shows. Even urban areas can create micro-patterns. Cities, with their concrete and metal, alter the air. The heat they produce rises into the sky, sometimes enhancing updrafts, helping clouds to grow taller, more active, more likely to build charge. In some regions, air pollution adds particles that serve as seeds around which moisture gathers. These tiny specks, so small you could never see them, help build the clouds themselves. And the clouds, in turn, create lightning. Even the time of day can form a rhythm. Afternoon and early evening are often peak hours for lightning, when the sun has warmed the ground and the clouds have had time to rise and prepare their quiet charges. So while lightning may seem unpredictable, it dances to a pattern that nature has written in soft ink. The same places are touched again and again, not randomly, but because they keep asking, not loudly, but gently. And even within a single storm, multiple strikes can occur along the same channel. You might see a flicker, and then another, and another. These are called return strokes, not new bolts, but repeated pulses along a path that's already been made. The sky remembers the easy way down, and returns. It's like a well-worn trail in the forest, or a river that runs along the same banks year after year. So, as you lie here, letting your thoughts slow, know that lightning's return is not chaotic. It is remembered. It is encouraged. It is quietly welcomed again and again. There is comfort in that. And now, we'll gently follow that shimmering pattern forward into the next moment of light. Tonight, let's visit something slender, something quiet. Protector that stands tall and still, welcoming lightning not with fear, but with grace. The lightning rod. It may look simple, just a thin metal rod reaching into the sky, but it holds centuries of understanding, a peaceful invention, a friend to both the ground and the storm. It all began with a question. A man named Benjamin Franklin once flew a kite into a storm. Curious, calm, wondering. He believed that lightning was not fire from the gods, but simply electricity, gentle and natural, waiting to be understood. And he was right. From that thought, the lightning rod was born, not as a weapon, not as a shield, but as a soft suggestion to the sky, a way to say, if you must strike, strike here, and let me carry your power safely home. You see, lightning rods don't stop lightning, they guide it. Let's imagine how. A storm cloud forms above, rich with charge, rumbling softly through the air. Below, the ground begins to answer, sending up its own quiet signal. And at the tip of a lightning rod, often perched atop rooftops, towers, barns, and ships, a gentle point of positive charge builds. It does not resist the storm, it prepares for it. When the stepped leader begins its descent from the cloud, the rod is ready. Its pointed tip reaches upward with a welcoming streamer. The connection is made. In that instant, lightning travels not through a tree or a roof or a chimney, but down a smooth metal path, into the earth below, safely, silently. The energy is grounded, not scattered, released, not resisted. Lightning rods become silent stewards, standing through wind and rain, catching the sky's attention with soft purpose. Not to fight nature, but to work with it. Even the shape matters. A pointed tip gathers charge more easily. A metal path conducts energy more safely. A grounding wire leads it into the Earth's patient soil, where it fades without harm. It's like a whisper, passed gently from sky to stone. Across the world, you'll see them, rods and conductors lining cathedral spires, crowning tall ships, tracing the edges of observatories, quiet sentinels, inviting balance. They're not loud, they're not showy, but they are trusted. And in a way, they're like us, small, grounded, but capable of receiving something vast if we're prepared. So the next time you see a lightning rod, just a slim metal finger pointing to the clouds, you might pause and imagine it speaking softly to the storm. If you need a place to go, I'm here. Let that image stay with you as you rest. The storm is not unwelcome, it is simply guided. And now we wonder, do the clouds themselves remember where they've struck before? Let's drift into that soft question next. Let's float now into a gentle wonder. Does nature remember? Do clouds retrace old steps? Do they carry some silent memory of where they've been before? Science offers its answers, but tonight, let's walk both paths, the factual and the imaginative, and let our thoughts drift between them like wisps of mist curling through the sky. Start by picturing a thundercloud, tall, towering, soft at the edges. It moves not in a straight line, but with the breeze, sometimes returning to places it's touched before, and sometimes it releases lightning again, in the same direction, the same field, the same tree, the same rooftop touched once, now touched once more. Is it memory, or just the path of least resistance? Science tells us that the sky doesn't remember the way we do, but it does prefer ease. It does follow familiar roads. Electrons don't choose with emotion, they move with simplicity. When a lightning bolt flashes, the air around it becomes ionized, turned into a kind of temporary tunnel, a charged channel where energy can move freely. And for a few fractions of a second, that path remains. And if the storm is still charged, lightning may return along that exact same trail. This is why we sometimes see multiple flashes in the same place. They're not copies, they're companions, return strokes, reinforcements, steps in the same dance. And over time, the landscape itself may influence future storms. A lone peak, a wide lake, a forest ridge, or a city spire. They shape the air currents. They influence cloud formation. They create soft, repeated conditions that call the lightning back. So in that way, yes, the earth and sky create patterns. Not memories exactly, but habits. And yet, there's something poetic in the thought of a cloud returning, drifting once more over the same sleepy town, pausing above the same hill it passed last year, lingering in the same valley where its charges once spilled like silver threads. Maybe it's not memory, but rhythm. Nature, after all, is full of cycles. The tides return, the seasons circle back, the moonlight lands on the same windowsill, again and again. So why not the clouds? We don't need to know for certain. We can simply wonder. We can rest in the beauty of the question. And as you lie, here, drifting like the clouds themselves, you might imagine a soft thunderhead floating above, silent, thoughtful, and familiar. It doesn't need to remember the last place it struck. It only needs to listen, to feel the path, to follow the invisible pull of the earth calling upward again. And so it returns. Let your thoughts follow it now, back through the sky's old pathways, back through a storm remembered not by mind, but by movement. And as you breathe slowly, you may find that you too are part of that rhythm, returning to peace, again and again. Let's lift off tonight. Not in speed, but in stillness. Let's float upward with a thought and gently join the quiet world of airports and airplanes. That vast, open sky where machines of flight occasionally meet the soft touch of lightning. It may sound dramatic, but in truth, it's not, because the skies and aircraft have made a peaceful agreement. And high above the clouds, even when lightning comes calling, it's met with calm understanding. Each day, thousands of planes sail through the atmosphere, gracefully, efficiently, and often invisibly blending with the weather around them. Sometimes they pass through calm blue, other times through a soft haze, and occasionally through stormy skies. And when they do, lightning might find them. But here's something comforting. Airplanes are built for this, engineered with intention, prepared with care. Let's imagine a moment. A plane glides through a layer of cloud. Outside the window, mist curls past the wing like breath on glass. Somewhere ahead, the cloud is charged, building its gentle energy as we've seen before. And then, without fuss, a soft flash. Lightning touches the aircraft, but not with harm, not with consequence. In most cases, no one inside feels a thing. You see, modern airplanes are designed to guide lightning safely, just like a lightning rod. Their metallic skin acts as a conductor, allowing the current to travel along the exterior and exit back into the air, usually from the tail or a wingtip. It enters, it flows, it leaves, quietly, completely. No damage, no drama. This happens, on average, once per year to each commercial airplane. It is not rare, and it is not feared. Pilots are trained. Systems are protected. The plane continues. The journey goes on. Airports, too, know this rhythm. They monitor storms with gentle precision, tracking their movement, predicting where the sky may spark next. Flights are sometimes delayed, not out of fear, but out of calm caution. A soft pause, a safety-first lull in the hum of takeoffs and landings. On the tarmac, tall lighting masts and ground systems are in place to protect structures and passengers alike. These spaces, full of technology and tension, are also full of trust. Everything is built to harmonize with the sky, not resist it. So, if lightning touches a plane, it is not a crisis. It is a passing connection, an atmospheric handshake. And the passengers inside? They remain cradled in pressurized calm. Perhaps reading, perhaps dozing, perhaps unaware that nature has brushed against them in midair. There is something beautiful in that. To move through the storm without disturbance. To be touched by light and never know it. As you drift into rest, you might imagine yourself as one of those passengers, floating above the earth, wrapped in metal wings and soft quiet. And even when the sky flickers, you are safe, because everything around you has been designed with care. Everything has prepared for peace. And now, we drift downward again to a secret part of the lightning story, the moment before the flash. Let's follow the slow descent of the stepped leader, before the brilliance, before the flash. There is something quieter, something almost secret. It is called the stepped leader, a faint, flickering thread of potential that drifts down from the cloud like a dreamwalker, feeling its way through the sky. Let's follow it now, gently, slowly, as if we, too, are suspended in air. Inside the thundercloud, charges have gathered, softly separated, building their difference like breath before a sigh. The base of the cloud hums with negative energy. The earth below, with quiet patience, holds a pool of positive charge. Between them, a space, invisible, waiting, ready. And when the imbalance becomes just enough, something begins. Not lightning, not yet, but a surge. The stepped leader begins its descent. It is not a beam of light, and it is not a single path. It is a faint, branching creature of energy, crawling downward in tiny steps. Each step moves a few dozen meters before pausing, like a thought pausing mid-sentence. Then another, and another. The leader zigzags through the sky, exploring possible paths, seeking a way forward, but it does not shine brightly. In fact, the human eye rarely sees it at all. It's a precursor, a prelude, the hush before the chord. Sometimes, multiple stepped leaders form at once, reaching toward rooftops, trees, mountaintops, towers. The air is full of invisible pathways, testing the world for the best way down. And then, near the ground, something stirs. A streamer, a tendril of positive charge, reaches upward to meet the leader's downward hand. The moment they touch, the path is complete. And in an instant, the true lightning flash races upward from ground to cloud, tracing the thread the leader has laid down, like ink racing along a drawn line. That upward stroke is what we see, what we call lightning, what flashes bright across the sky. But the stepped leader, it is what makes it all possible. Without it, there would be no flash, no thunder, no story to tell. It is the quiet architect of brilliance, the silent mapmaker of the storm. It doesn't move with force, it moves with patience. It seeks, it senses, and then it allows. There's something poetic in that. The idea that even a lightning bolt, so fast, so sudden, begins with hesitation, with wondering, with tiny, flickering questions. As you rest tonight, you might imagine yourself moving like a stepped leader, gently testing the air, unsure but unafraid, taking small steps, feeling your way, and eventually, you connect, you find light, you complete the story, but it starts slow. It always starts slow. Let this chapter settle over you like a dim veil, soft, full of wonder, quiet with purpose. And when you're ready, we'll rise again to follow where that light goes next. Let's return now to that fleeting, glowing moment we often think of as the lightning strike. But tonight, we'll see it differently, not as a flash of violence, but as a quiet reversal, a glowing breath of energy flowing upward, back to where it began. This is called the return stroke, and though it may appear as a sudden bolt from above, it is, in truth, a soft reply from below. Let's revisit the steps that bring us here. Inside the storm, the air stirs. Charges separate. The cloud fills with tension. Then comes the stepped leader, faint and searching, reaching downward in jagged, flickering steps, like a traveler tracing a path in the dark. It is invisible to most eyes, but the air can feel it, and near the surface of the earth, something stirs in return, a quiet response. A positive streamer reaches upward, answering the leader's gentle call. When they meet, a path is formed, a complete channel between cloud and earth, a moment of connection. And now, the real light begins. The return stroke flows upward, from ground to sky. Yes, upward. It rushes along the path the leader carved, traveling at nearly a third the speed of light. And though it moves fast, the effect is smooth and beautiful, like a ribbon of energy being pulled softly skyward. This is the bright flash we see, the glowing streak across the sky, the moment that wakes the horizon and stirs the air. But it lasts only a few microseconds, just long enough for the balance to be restored. It's not a strike in the sense of force. It's a release, a graceful reversal. The earth giving back what the sky began. The light is so bright because of the heat, hotter than the surface of the sun, if only for an instant. The air around it expands rapidly, creating the low, rolling sound we know as thunder. But that's later. The return stroke comes first, quietly, quickly, completely. Sometimes there are more than one. The same path may be used again, pulsing several times in quick succession, each pulse a gentle refinement of the last. It may seem like a single strike, but in truth, it may be 3, 4, or more return strokes, each one flowing upward, following the same glowing thread. Think of it like a brushstroke repeated with care, layered softly over itself until the picture is complete. As you rest now, you might picture the moment not as sharp, but soft. A light gently rising into the clouds. A question answered. A conversation concluded. The storm does not shout. It exhales. And that final release, glowing upward through the sky, leaves behind not fear, but quiet. Let that image settle into your breath. And now, we drift toward a different kind of lightning, one that seems to appear from nowhere, a wandering spark with a curious heart. Sometimes, lightning arrives not from above your head, but from a place you least expect, a sky that seems calm, a storm that feels far away, and yet a flash. This is known softly and rather poetically as a bolt from the blue. But don't let the name confuse you. It doesn't come from clear skies. It comes from the edge of a storm, from the reaches of the cloud you thought was passing. Let's follow this wandering visitor together. Most lightning happens near the center of a storm, between clouds or from cloud to ground. But some bolts stretch far, very far, up to 25 miles away or more. They begin in the same way. Charges build. The stepped leader reaches down. But instead of striking directly below the storm, the path curves outward, guided by the wind and the shape of the cloud's edge. It arcs gracefully, sometimes high, sometimes wide, before it lands. Often in places where the sky above still looks blue. Hence the name. These are not different in nature, just different in direction. The sky finds a path it remembers, even at a distance. Perhaps a tall tree, a lone antenna, a place the lightning has touched before. Even far from the storm, these locations remain quietly inviting. We often think of lightning as coming straight down, but energy moves how it must, not always direct, sometimes sideways, sometimes far. It's a good reminder. The sky doesn't see the ground in straight lines. It sees potential, paths, possibility. And so, a bolt from the blue may arc across the sky like a secret signature, written in glowing ink from storm to stillness. To those watching, it may feel sudden, unexpected, but to the cloud, it is simply part of the plan. These bolts may carry surprise, but they are not careless. They are the sky's long-distance reply, and often they strike places that have been struck before, because even from far away, the cloud remembers. The tall tower, the mountain ridge, the place where the charge gathers easily. Let that thought soften you, that even the distant spark is guided by quiet geography, by memory in the land, by invitation from below. A bolt from the blue is not wild, it's just well traveled. And as you lie here, you might imagine one arcing across the sky, soft and slow, like a glowing feather floating down from the heavens. It doesn't aim to surprise, it simply follows a thread, one that stretches a little farther than most, a path chosen not by chance, but by quiet preference. Let that image glow behind your eyes as you drift, a wandering light, from storm to sky to stillness. And when you're ready, we'll follow that light to the next gentle mystery. Let's look up tonight, all the way up into the sky's quiet edge, where architecture begins to blend with cloud. There, tall buildings rise like gentle invitations, silent spires, steel and glass arms reaching upward. And when the sky grows charged, these skyscrapers don't flinch. They simply wait. They become magnets, not by force, but by design. Let's wander among them now. Cities are filled with stories, but among the tallest buildings, there's one story told in sparks, soft and repeated. A story where lightning doesn't strike just once, but many times. Why? Because height matters, and shape matters. But most of all, openness matters. When a thundercloud swells above a city, full of energy and quiet tension, it seeks the path of least resistance. Somewhere it can complete its circuit with ease. And tall buildings, with their sharp points and metal cores, make that journey easier. They stand ready, their tops brimming with positive charge, drawn up from the earth as the cloud hovers close. From the cloud, a stepped leader descends, its faint path, searching, flickering. And when the connection is made, lightning flows, not randomly, but gently, through the tallest, clearest route. It's not danger, it's design. Many skyscrapers are struck dozens of times per year, not because they're vulnerable, but because they're prepared. Their structures include lightning protection systems, thin rods, metallic veins, grounding paths that carry energy safely downward, from sky to steel to soil. The buildings don't resist the lightning, they welcome it, and then let it go. They are not harmed, they are not alarmed, they are part of the weather's routine. From the Empire State Building in New York to the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, these modern giants form part of a new relationship with the sky. Their height makes them familiar destinations, often the first place lightning touches when a storm rolls in. And once a building has been struck, the atmosphere remembers. The path becomes familiar. The next strike often follows the same line. Some of the tallest skyscrapers are struck hundreds of times over their lifetime, not as accidents, but as conductors. Elegant, functional, peaceful. Picture it now. A quiet skyline just before dusk. Clouds swirling in muted lavender and silver. And at the center, a tower glowing faintly with gathering charge. Then, just for a blink, a flash, a kiss of light, drawn from the sky, returning to Earth through a line of glass and steel. No panic, just pattern. These buildings, do not reach upward in defiance. They reach upward in openness. They offer themselves as a bridge. And when the storm has passed, they remain calm, grounded, unchanged. So, when you hear someone say a skyscraper was hit by lightning, you can think instead, it was touched, it was chosen, it was trusted. And now, let's visit one of the most beloved towers in the world, a landmark known for light, in more ways than one. Let's travel now, softly, to Paris, to a place where iron touches the sky and the clouds. Sometimes pause to say hello. The Eiffel Tower, a symbol of elegance and romance, and also a quiet guesthouse for lightning. More than 1,000 feet tall, the Eiffel Tower rises above the city like a needle threading the sky. And when a storm rolls in, it becomes more than a monument. It becomes a familiar friend to the weather. You see, the Eiffel Tower is struck by lightning multiple times each year, not by accident, not by surprise, but as part of a soft and steady routine. Let's climb it together now, not with steps, but with thought. High above the cobblestone streets and quiet cafes, the tower's iron frame waits beneath the swirling sky. The clouds above begin to stir, layered with invisible charge, soft currents moving like breath. And as we've seen, tall structures like this begin to answer. Positive charges gather at the top of the tower, drawn upward from the earth. The storm sends a stepped leader downward, testing the air with flickering touches. And the Eiffel Tower responds, with grace, with readiness, with familiarity. Lightning flows along its frame, down its iron bones, into the ground. The tower was designed to receive it, built with metal, with structure, with purpose. It does not resist, it participates. There is no harm, no damage, just a glowing moment shared between cloud and city. In fact, this relationship has existed for more than a century. Photographers in the early 1900s captured the tower's lightning strikes on film, fuzzy, magical images of light embracing metal. Even then, people understood the tower was not just a symbol of art, but of science. And still today, it continues its quiet role. Each time lightning returns, it chooses the Eiffel Tower not out of anger, but ease. The tower is tall, it is conductive, it is consistent, and so lightning remembers. From storm to storm, year after year, the path is repeated, like an old melody played again and again. There's something poetic in that. Paris, the city of light, being touched again and again by light itself. And in a way, the Eiffel Tower is not just a receiver of electricity, it's a storyteller. Each strike becomes part of its long history, another line in a love letter between architecture and atmosphere. And when the clouds drift on, the tower remains, unshaken, still watching the sky. So, as you drift into rest, picture this, a quiet night in Paris, rain whispering on rooftops, clouds glowing above the Seine, and at the heart of it all, the Eiffel Tower stands tall, a conductor, a companion, a witness to light. Let that image stay with you, because even lightning can fall in love with a tower. We often think of winter as silent. Snow falls with a hush, covering fields, trees, and rooftops in softness. A blanket of stillness laid gently across the world. But even in that silence, lightning can return, rarely and briefly, but beautifully. Let's drift now into the gentle mystery of thunder snow. When winter's cold hand meets the sky's electric spark, it begins with a snowstorm, thick, swirling clouds heavy with frozen moisture. And within those clouds, just like in a summer storm, motion begins. Air rises and falls. Droplets freeze and collide. crystals tumble and swirl. The same processes that build charge in a thunderstorm can also happen in winter. The key is energy. Even in the cold, when warm air rises quickly beneath a cold front, the storm can gather strength. And inside that motion, within the dancing flakes, charges begin to separate. Positive and negative regions form within the cloud. Static builds, and the atmosphere grows tense with quiet potential. Then, a path opens. A stepped leader begins its invisible descent, zigzagging through falling snow, searching for the ground. And when the return stroke races upward, lightning blooms. But this time, it is seen through the haze of flurries, a flash behind falling snow, a blink of light inside a storm of white. It's different than summer. Lightning, the snow muffles the thunder, the clouds absorb the sound. So the strike comes quietly, often with only a low, distant rumble, like a drum wrapped in velvet. And yet, it's just as powerful, just as beautiful. It happens rarely, in just the right conditions, in strong winter storms with deep convection and rich moisture. But when it does appear, it's unforgettable. Skiers have seen it from mountain slopes, flashes lighting up the snow around them like a dream. Night drivers have watched it from behind windshield glass, light echoing off white roads and dark skies. It feels like magic, but it is simply meteorology, draped in frost. Let your mind drift there now, to a winter night wrapped in clouds, snowflakes falling like feathers, and then, suddenly, light. A moment of quiet electricity in the middle of the storm. There is no need to fear it. It is gentle, rare, meaningful. It reminds us that even in the coldest moments, energy is always moving. The sky is always listening, and balance may return in the most unexpected ways. So, rest easy now. Even in snow, the sky remembers its rhythm. Even in silence, lightning may come softly. Let's float forward, then, to where lightning forms in places high above the clouds, in the very edge of space. Tonight, let's slow everything down. Let's pause the rush of the world, the ticking of clocks, even the blink of a flash, and drift into a place where time softens, where we can observe lightning not in a split-second burst, but in slow, graceful motion. This is slow-motion lightning, not a different kind of lightning, but a different way of seeing it. Thanks to high-speed cameras, clever tools in the hands of curious minds, scientists have been able to film lightning one frame at a time. What they found was not chaos, but choreography. Let's press play together. Slowly. At regular speed, lightning looks like a sudden crack across the sky. A jagged line, white hot and gone in the blink of an eye. But slow it down, and something else is revealed. It begins in darkness. A stepped leader, dim and silent, emerges from the cloud. It reaches downward, not in one smooth line, but in tiny pulses. Each step of the leader travels a short distance, pauses, and then reaches again. In the slowed footage, this descent looks almost gentle, as if the bolt is thinking, feeling its way toward the earth. Flicker, pause, flicker, pause. A series of dim glows, like soft breaths in the dark. At the same time, the earth stirs. Positive streamers stretch upward from trees, towers, and rooftops, waiting to meet the descending leader. And then, the moment. Connection. The two invisible threads, one from above, one from below, kiss, and in that instant, the lightning bolt we know truly begins. The return stroke flashes upward, bright and fast, retracing the leader's path in a fraction of a second. But even here, slow motion reveals more. The light doesn't explode outward. It blooms. The bolt glows softly, then fades in waves. Sometimes, multiple return strokes follow the same path, each one a little less bright, a little less urgent. Together, they look like a series of echoes, a lullaby of light. And just like that, it's over. The air still hums, the channel closes, the cloud moves on, but in slow motion, we've seen the hidden calm within the flash. We've seen that lightning is not just a strike. It's a story, told in steps, told in rhythm. And by slowing it down, we've made space to listen. You might picture it now, a bolt forming gently in the air, like a dancer making their way across a darkened stage, pausing between each movement, graceful, elegant, soft. And though the full process takes less than a second, in this slowed view, it feels timeless. So as you rest, you might let your own thoughts move like that, one flicker at a time, not rushing, not finishing, just stepping through the quiet. Let time slow down. Let the moment stretch. Let the light unfold gently across your dreams. And next, we'll look at lightning that never even shows its shape, only its glow. Let's stay in the quiet now, not where lightning dances in bold, visible branches, but where it glows softly, without form. A flash that doesn't strike the ground, doesn't carve through the sky. Instead, it blooms, it glows, like a candle flickering behind a curtain. This is sheet lightning, a quiet illumination that lights up the sky without revealing its source. Let's explore it gently. You may have seen it on summer nights, clouds glowing from within, briefly lit by something unseen. No bolt, no lines, just light, swelling and fading behind the sky's veil. This happens when lightning forms within or behind a cloud. The actual bolt is there, but hidden, tucked behind thick layers of vapor. And when it flashes, the light diffuses through the moisture. It spreads, it softens. The entire sky lights up, but the lightning structure is masked, as if nature has draped a curtain over the moment. The result is peaceful, a pulse of light, without edges. To our eyes, it looks like the whole sky is glowing. No shape, no branches, just the suggestion of electricity, echoed in soft luminescence. It's often associated with intra-cloud lightning or cloud-to-cloud flashes, those internal, high-up dances we explored earlier. Sometimes, it can light up the entire horizon, especially at night. You might see the clouds glow faintly violet, or silver, or even pale peach, like a lantern, or moonlight hiding behind thick cotton. Thunder may follow, low and slow, but often it feels like watching a silent storm. And though it appears calm, it still carries the same energy, the same steps, the same unseen spark that makes lightning what it is, just hidden. Sheet lightning is common in distant storms, on the edges of systems, or during the later stages of a storm's life. It's the storm, turning inward, speaking softly now. Less strike, more whisper. You might imagine being inside a quiet room with the curtains drawn, a flash outside, and the whole space glows for a moment. That's what this lightning feels like. Soft, contained, peaceful, and like much of what we've explored, it reminds us that not all lightning needs to show itself fully. Sometimes a glow is enough. It's the suggestion of something powerful, moving with grace behind the scenes. And so, as you rest, you might picture the night sky overhead, thick with clouds, resting heavy and still. And then a breath of light, a soft pulse that spreads gently across the horizon, then fades back into shadow. No edges, no sound, just a glow. Let that glow stay with you now. A quiet comfort, flicker of peace that needs no form. And from here, we rise again, to the very edge of the sky, where lightning takes on forms few have ever seen. Let's rise again, gently, into a stormy sky touched by wind. Not the kind that rushes, but the kind that plays, that stirs the air just enough to tease the edge of a lightning bolt. Tonight, we'll float alongside a special kind of strike, a streak of lightning that dances as it falls. Not in a straight line, but in soft, rippling motion. This is ribbon lightning, a twisting, swaying variation of cloud-to-ground lightning shaped by wind. And it begins the same way as all lightning, with separation, with gentle tension. Inside the storm cloud, charges sort themselves, positive at the top, negative at the base. The earth below answers in silence. And when the tension grows too great, the stepped leader begins its descent, feeling its way downward. Then comes the return stroke, glowing brightly as it travels up the same path. But when the air is windy, especially at high altitudes, something unusual happens. The strong upper-level winds push the path of the lightning bolt sideways as it forms, gently pulling it from one position to another. Each return stroke follows the same original channel, but because of the wind, the bolt no longer appears to be in one place. To our eyes, it looks like the lightning has created multiple parallel strands, several bright lines close together, like glowing threads hanging from the sky. These are not different bolts, they are echoes, each stroke slightly displaced by the wind. They form what looks like a ribbon fluttering in the air, suspended, waving, weightless. It's lightning in motion, shaped by air. From the ground, this rare phenomenon looks ethereal. A split, braided shimmer, a flickering curtain of light in the rain. Each ripple tells the story of the wind's breath. Each parallel flash holds the memory of a moment just past. The stronger the wind, the more separated the strokes appear. Sometimes they're spaced like strings on an instrument. Other times they blur together in a wider shimmer. And while it may seem dramatic, ribbon lightning is just lightning wearing a different form. Not louder, not more dangerous, just more visible in its motion. You might imagine the sky painting the same stroke over and over, but each time the canvas moves ever so slightly, and the result? A streak that ripples, a line that lives. Let your breath follow that rhythm now. In, pause, out, like a ribbon caught in air. Gentle, measured, repeating. Ribbon lightning reminds us that even in repetition, there can be variation. That even something as fast as a lightning bolt can be shaped by softness. So, the next time you hear of a storm and the winds are high, you might look up and see a ribbon in the sky, not tied to anything, just flowing freely until it fades. And now we'll stretch even farther, to lightning that doesn't fall at all, but crawls across the ceiling of the sky. Now we drift wider, outward and across, because not all lightning reaches down. Some stretches sideways, hugging the sky's ceiling in long, branching trails. This is spider lightning, not named for fear, but for its shape. A long, flat crawl of light, reaching out like delicate legs across the cloud tops. It often begins as a flash within a cloud, but instead of traveling down to the ground, the energy spreads outward, moving laterally across great distances. Sometimes it travels for miles, 10, 20, even more, and the entire time it stays close to the top of the storm, skimming, wandering, following the edge where charged air meets the darkening sky. From a distance, it appears as a gentle flicker, spreading like fingers. From underneath, it glows like a net of soft light. It's graceful, slow, a sleepy traveler tracing old pathways above the clouds. Spider lightning is usually part of larger storm systems, supercells or sprawling clusters of thunderstorms. These clouds are wide and tall, with ample space for lightning to wander. The electrical charge doesn't always need to find the ground. Sometimes it just needs to move, to stretch, to release. And so it crawls sideways, finding its balance while staying aloft. You might imagine it like this. A storm cloud is full of whispers. One whisper begins to stir, and instead of falling, it tiptoes across the sky, telling its story through a glowing trail. Spider lightning may spark other types of lightning too. Sometimes, as it stretches, one of its long branches finds a path downward, and in that moment, a cloud-to-ground strike forms. So you may see a wide, crawling flash, followed by a sudden bolt dropping from one end, a spider with a tail of thunder. But often it stays above, silent, spread out, gone before most even notice. At night, it's easier to see. You might lie on your back and watch the whole horizon glow. The cloud top lights up, long and low, like a field of lanterns being lit in sequence. Spider lightning rarely carries thunder with it. If it does, the sound is low, delayed, or lost in the distance. What remains is the glow, the sprawl of light across the sky, a moment of wandering brilliance. It's a reminder that lightning doesn't always need to fall. It can explore instead. It can roam. Let that be your thought as you rest. Not every spark needs to land. Some simply travel, slowly, calmly, quietly, and when they do, they leave the sky just a little more illuminated. Let your mind wander like spider lightning now, long, branching thoughts stretching across the soft clouds of sleep. And when you're ready, we'll continue upward still, to the glowing mysteries that hover even higher, above the storm, in the very edge of space. Let's take a gentle moment tonight to talk about safety, not with urgency, not with fear, but with quiet wisdom, like an elder passing along stories by a warm fire. Because even lightning, for all its beauty, deserves our respect. And knowing how to stay safe in its presence isn't something to worry over. It's something to carry softly, like a well-folded map tucked into your pocket. So, let's begin, not with rules, but with understanding. Lightning follows patterns. It listens to the landscape. It returns to the same places, not by chance, but because those places welcome its energy. Tall structures, open fields, lone trees, metal objects that reach toward the sky. These are all natural conductors, eager bridges between cloud and earth. And so, during a storm, we simply learn to step aside from those bridges. Imagine a thunderstorm moving across a summer plain. You see the clouds darken, the horizon flicker with distant flashes. The earth begins its quiet response, sending upward its invitation. And the clouds listen. This is not a time to be afraid. It's a time to be aware. Lightning safety begins with timing. If you can hear thunder, lightning is close enough to reach you. Even if the skies above are still blue, especially with bolts from the blue, lightning can travel long distances. So when thunder rolls, we respond with calm action. We seek shelter, not with panic, but with peace. A car with a metal roof, a sturdy building, somewhere, enclosed and grounded. These are the havens we choose, places where lightning will pass around us, not through us. And while inside, we avoid holding metal or touching plumbing, because electricity loves a path. We simply wait. We let the storm finish its conversation with the earth. Outdoors, we avoid high ground, isolated trees, fences and flagpoles, not out of fear, but out of courtesy. We step gently out of the way, letting lightning finish its journey without interruption. Even in groups, we spread out. So, if the sky reaches downward, it only touches one, not many. And when the storm begins to fade, we give it time. 30 minutes after the last thunder, a soft measure of patience before returning to the open. There is beauty in this rhythm. Listen, shelter, wait, return, no alarms, no panic, just presence. And for those who must be outside, farmers, hikers, workers, wanderers, awareness becomes a gift. Reading the sky becomes an act of kindness. Clouds that rise sharply, that swell with silver or bruise with blue-grey. These are signs of gathering charge. When the wind shifts, when the air thickens, the sky is preparing, and we can prepare too, gently, without fear. Let this chapter settle into your breath. You don't need to memorize. You only need to remember that safety is a quiet practice, and lightning, for all its power, follows rules we can understand. We don't have to chase it. We don't have to fear it. We only need to respect the path it prefers. And from here, we journey to the places that invite it on purpose, not in danger, but in curiosity. Let's visit the tall towers where lightning is welcomed, and studied, and understood. Now, let's rise, not with wings, but with wonder, to the top of tall towers that pierce the clouds. Places where lightning is not avoided, but invited. These are weather towers, research stations, masts, and instruments that stretch into the sky with quiet purpose. Their role? To meet lightning gently, to understand its rhythm, to listen to its patterns. Let's visit one now. High in the rolling hills of Florida, or on open plains in Colorado, you'll find metal towers rising into the sky like slender reeds. They're topped with sensors, cameras, and instruments, watching, waiting, measuring. And when a storm builds nearby, these towers don't hide. They welcome. Each is grounded with care, equipped with conductors that guide lightning safely to the earth. Their purpose is not to attract danger, but to offer the sky a clear path, so researchers can observe, record, and learn. Some towers are fitted with launchers, small rockets trailed by thin wires, sent into the cloud to trigger a lightning strike. Not recklessly, but under the quiet control of science. A coaxed connection, a guided meeting between storm and soil. And when the lightning comes, when it flows along the wire or down the tower, sensors capture every detail. The brightness, the speed, the current, the flicker of each return stroke. What once vanished in a blink is now studied, frame by frame. Slow motion cameras catch the leaders descending. Voltage meters record the pulse of energy. Microphones listen for the signature rumble. From this data, we learn how lightning begins, why it returns, what it seeks, and how we can live safely beneath its glow. These towers do not fear the storm. They form a partnership between human curiosity and nature's glowing breath. The more we study, the more gently we speak of lightning, not as a threat, but as a phenomenon, a teacher, a returning guest. And each strike that kisses a research tower brings us closer to understanding. So, as you lie here now, imagine one of those towers silhouetted against a dim sky, a storm rolling in, clouds curling like soft ink, and at the tower's tip, a flash, not sharp, not harsh, but bright, a moment of pure connection between earth and sky and wonder. The tower doesn't flinch, it listens, and when the light fades, it remains still and steady, like wisdom waiting for the next question. Let that image rest in your mind as you drift, the peaceful study of the sky's oldest light. And next, we'll lift our gaze even higher, beyond the clouds, to where lightning takes on colors and forms we only recently began to see. Tonight, let's travel, not far, but softly, to a place where lightning visits not once, not twice, but nearly every night, a quiet shoreline kissed by sparks, a place known by many names, but to the sky, it's simply home. This is Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela, often called the lightning capital of the world. Here, in the stillness between mountains and sea, a nightly rhythm unfolds. Clouds gather, charges rise, and lightning dances, again and again. Let's drift there together now. Picture it, a wide, shallow lake cradled by the Andes Mountains, warm, humid air rising from the water, cool mountain winds descending like whispers from stone. These gentle movements meet in the sky, and the clouds begin to build. At dusk, the first pulses appear. By nightfall, the show begins. This is Catatumbo lightning, named for the river that flows into the lake. It is not chaotic. It is not rare. It is persistent, predictable, poetic. Some nights, hundreds of lightning flashes ripple across the sky, sometimes thousands, always quiet from afar, always distant thunder rolling like drums underwater. What makes this place so special? It's the geography. The lake's warm surface releases moisture, feeding the storm. The mountains guide the wind. The basin cradles the charge. It's as if the land and air are designed to meet this way, not by accident, but in ritual. This natural pattern creates one of the most electrically active places on Earth, yet it feels like a lullaby. Night after night, the sky returns. It glows from within. Soft, violet flickers ripple behind the clouds, like moonlight in water. And for those who live nearby, it's not alarming, it's familiar. Fishermen set their nets by the lightning's light. Locals fall asleep to the far-off hum of thunder. Children grow up with the sky's nightly spark as their bedtime companion. This lightning doesn't strike the same spot again and again. It spreads, it drifts, it brushes the air above the lake like a painter softening a canvas. And unlike many storms, this one rarely brings rain. The lightning floats above, distant and dry, like a lantern hung in the heavens. Some believe it guides ships. Others say it sings the history of the clouds. But to scientists, it's a gift, a living laboratory where lightning can be observed every single night, and always it returns. Let that thought comfort you, that there are places in the world where the storm is not feared, but welcomed, where lightning comes like an old friend, not to strike, but to shine. As you rest, imagine the lake before you, still and warm, clouds forming in the distance, and then flicker, flicker, flicker. A slow rhythm of returning light, no rush, no force, just presence. And from here, we rise gently to explore the invisible field that surrounds us always, the atmosphere's quiet breath of electricity. Not all electricity comes with a flash. Some of it is always there, silent, invisible, patient. Tonight, we'll float through something soft and constant, the electric field of the atmosphere. It's not lightning, but it's connected to every bolt. A quiet current that lives between earth and sky, guiding each charge with subtle grace. Let's begin by imagining the space around us. All of it filled with tiny, unseen energy. The earth carries a natural negative charge. The upper atmosphere holds a positive one. Between them stretches the air we breathe, a space alive with potential. This forms a global electric circuit, a constant field that spans the planet. Even on clear days, even when storms are far away, the atmosphere holds this gentle pull. The voltage is low, roughly 100 volts per meter, near the surface. Not enough to shock, just enough to shape. It's like a whisper between earth and sky, a reminder that they're always in conversation. And this field matters. It gently guides the motion of charges during storms. It helps determine where lightning will land, which path it will choose, where it will return. It's one reason lightning doesn't strike randomly. There's an order behind the scenes, an unseen guidance. Think of it as the breath of the sky, invisible, continuous, and always flowing. When a storm forms, this quiet field strengthens. The cloud gathers its charges, the earth responds, and the field stretches tighter, shaping the lines along which electricity may move. It doesn't force, it doesn't demand, it simply exists, a soft thread pulling lightning along paths of least resistance. And when the strike happens, the field shifts, just for a moment. Then, like lungs after a breath, it resets. This gentle field also explains why the same spots receive lightning again and again. Tall trees, open water, isolated peaks. The atmosphere remembers those places, not with memory, but with preference. They are easy, they are familiar. They shape the field just slightly, and the lightning follows. Even when no storm is present, the electric field hums quietly around us. We don't see it, we don't feel it, but it's there, like gravity, like warmth, like breath. Some animals sense it. Migrating birds use it to navigate. Some insects even respond to the charge in the air. And scientists, with delicate instruments, study it from mountaintops and weather balloons, trying to listen more closely to this ancient hum between earth and sky. As you rest now, imagine floating gently in that space, not flying, not falling, just suspended in the soft current of the atmosphere's charge. It holds you, it cradles every cloud, it whispers to every storm, and when the lightning comes, it follows that quiet breath home. Let this be your breath now, calm, electric, steady, part of the sky's invisible rhythm. And next, we'll rise even higher, to the edge of space, where lightning takes forms too rare to see, but too beautiful to forget. Let's drift now into a quieter kind of light. Not one we see in the sky, but one drawn on a screen. Soft patterns made from sparks, mapping where lightning has been, and where it may gently return. This is the world of lightning maps, glowing traces of the sky's electric memory. Modern science has given us gentle tools, sensors, satellites, radar arrays, each one quietly listening for the soft electric crackle of a lightning strike. And when one occurs, it's marked, pinpointed, drawn onto a map like a glowing star on a dark canvas. Not to warn, but to understand. Let's imagine one now, a map of the Earth softly dimmed, a dark ocean, a pale coast, and then flicker. A dot appears, then another, and another. Over time, these dots gather. They form trails, patterns, paths. Not random, but rhythmic. They show us where lightning lives, where it dances most often, where it returns, night after night, season after season. Some areas, like Lake Maracaibo, shimmer with nightly activity. Others flicker with storms that come once a year, like soft footsteps through familiar fields. From space, satellites trace every spark. They orbit quietly, always watching. And from the ground, vast networks of sensors listen to the electromagnetic whisper of each bolt. Some tools track cloud-to-ground strikes. Others follow lightning within the clouds. All of it becomes part of a larger picture, a quiet mosaic of where the sky meets the earth. And when viewed as a whole, these maps don't look like storms. They look like lullabies. Soft threads of light arcing over continents. Pulses clustered like beads on a necklace. Lines that drift with the seasons, drawing the sky's journey across time. Meteorologists use these maps not only to study storms, but to understand patterns, to find hotspots, to gently forecast where the next flicker might arrive. It's not prediction in the sharp sense, but a soft suggestion based on where the lightning has already been. Because lightning follows memory. It often returns to places it knows. High ground, open fields, tall buildings. And the maps remember this. They trace the rhythm of those returns, like charting a song you've heard before, with verses that rise and fall. Sometimes these maps are turned into art. Photographers overlay them on starlit skies. Scientists animate them like constellations coming to life. They are a way of reading the sky's quiet handwriting, electric cursive, patterns drawn in a language of light. So, as you rest tonight, imagine the world glowing softly below. Lines of light tracing across oceans, mountains twinkling with tiny pulses, valleys humming with remembered sparks. No fear, just presence, just paths. Lightning doesn't move blindly. It listens, and the maps we build are its journals, a record of light, a reminder of rhythm. Let that rhythm lull you now, a visual hum of nature's most fleeting breath, captured and remembered. And after the light comes the sound. Next, we'll linger in the hush that follows, in the low voice of the sky as it speaks its final note. After every flash comes the hush. Then, from somewhere deep and distant, a sound begins. It rolls in gently, like a drumbeat under a pillow, like breath echoing through the clouds. This is thunder, the voice of lightning. Let's sit with it now. Not as a boom, not as a jolt, but as a long, low sigh from the sky. When lightning strikes, it heats the air around it, quickly, faster than anything we experience in everyday life, hotter even than the surface of the sun, for just a moment. And when air is heated so suddenly, it expands, it pushes outward. The energy moves in all directions, sending ripples through the sky. Those ripples are what we hear. Thunder isn't the lightning itself. It's the air reacting. It's the sky settling. After the spark, the sound moves slowly compared to light. So we see the flash first, then we wait and listen. If the lightning is close, the thunder may come quickly, loud, sharp, immediate. But when it's far, the sound takes its time. It rolls, it stretches, it arrives like a memory. Sometimes it sounds like one long rumble, other times like a series of soft echoes, fading in and out, like footsteps on distant clouds. And if you're far enough from the storm, you may not hear thunder at all. The sound may dissipate, swallowed by wind and space. But when you do hear it, let it comfort you. It's not a warning, it's a reminder that something brilliant happened above. And now the world is exhaling. We can even measure distance with thunder. After a flash, if you count the seconds until the rumble, you can estimate how far away the lightning was. 5 seconds, roughly a mile. But here, there's no need to measure, only to notice, to feel the sound arrive, not in your ears, but in your chest. A deep vibration that reminds you you're part of the atmosphere too. Some people call thunder the sky's drum, others its whisper, its heartbeat, its echo. Whatever we call it, it's always the same, the sound of energy completing its story. And in that sound, there's something grounding. The flash is gone. The air has calmed. What's left is resonance. So, as you lie here and imagine the sky flickering softly overhead, let the thunder be a lullaby, a slow sound rolling through a field, a sleepy voice humming just out of sight. You don't need to fear it. You don't need to run from it. You can simply listen. Let each rumble soothe your thoughts, like waves breaking on a distant shore. And as the sound fades into silence, the sky grows still once more, and so do you. Let's breathe in together, gently, slowly. There's a scent in the air after a storm, a cool, crisp fragrance that seems to drift just above the ground. Fresh, clean, slightly sharp, almost like rain, but not quite. This is the smell of ozone, a whisper of the sky's chemistry, left behind after lightning has passed. It's not loud, it's not overwhelming, it's subtle, like memory, like something you've smelled before, but can't quite describe. Let's linger in that scent. After a lightning strike, the energy released doesn't just light up the sky, it also reaches into the air itself, changing what we breathe. The bolt moves through the atmosphere with immense heat and speed, splitting the molecules it touches. One of the most common elements up there is oxygen, O2. Two atoms, bonded together in a delicate balance. But lightning is strong. It can break that bond. And when it does, some of the free-floating oxygen atoms bond again, this time into trios, O3, ozone. This new molecule has a sharp, slightly sweet scent, and it lingers for just a little while in the cool air after the storm. You may recognize it even before the rain ends. That sudden fresh smell carried on a breeze, as if nature has swept the sky clean. Ozone is found high in the atmosphere too, up in the stratosphere, where it protects us from the sun's rays. But here, near the ground, it's created only in small amounts, just enough to notice, just enough to remember. For many, the smell of ozone evokes childhood storms, screen doors left open to the rain, pavement still steaming, the hush after thunder, a moment of pause between one world and the next. It's more than just a scent, it's a signal, a soft exhale from the clouds, proof that something passed through, briefly, brilliantly, and left the air changed. And while we often focus on the flash and the thunder, ozone is lightning's final gift, a trace of its presence carried on the breeze. Even animals respond to it. Some birds and insects can detect ozone before a storm even begins, as lightning stirs the sky long before it's seen. It's a subtle warning, a cue to find shelter or to sit still. But for us, after the storm, it's peace, that cool breath that floats across fields and sidewalks, between trees and along rooftops, is the sky letting go. The air feels thinner, lighter, cleansed. Let that be your breath now. Draw it in softly, imagined or real. Let it fill your chest with stillness. Let it drift through you like mist through pine. The scent of ozone reminds us that even powerful things can leave behind gentleness. And now, we follow lightning's path, not through air, but through time. Let's revisit the myths and mysteries woven around it for thousands of years. Long before we understood lightning as electricity, long before satellites, sensors, and science, humans looked up at the sky and saw something sacred. Lightning was a sign, a message, a spark sent from the heavens. Let's wander now through that ancient world, softly, respectfully, as we revisit the myths and mysteries lightning left behind. Across cultures, lightning was rarely feared. It was revered. It struck mountaintops as if to crown them. It kissed temples as if to awaken them. To many, it was not just weather, it was the voice of gods. In Norse mythology, lightning was the hammer of Thor, Mjolnir, flung through the clouds with purpose. Each bolt a strike of protection, a shield for humanity. In Greek stories, Zeus ruled the sky with thunderbolts in hand, symbols of judgment, yes, but also of order and power, used to restore balance when needed. In ancient Hindu texts, Indra, the storm god, wielded Vajra, a weapon of light and thunder, not to destroy, but to shape the world. The Mayans believed lightning helped form the earth, carving rivers, stirring wind, igniting fire. And among the indigenous peoples of North America, lightning often symbolized transformation, a sacred crossing between worlds. The thunderbird, a vast, powerful spirit, was said to flap its wings and bring the storm. All these stories have one thing in common. They see lightning not as destruction, but as meaning. It was never random. It was always returning to the same high cliffs, the same sacred trees, the same places again and again. Even without instruments, our ancestors noticed the patterns. They built temples on mountaintops, placed altars where the sky touched the land. And when lightning struck those places, they didn't run. They listened. They saw it as communication between earth and sky, between the human and the divine. And perhaps they weren't wrong, because even now, with all our knowledge, lightning still holds mystery. It still stirs awe. It still makes us pause, mid-sentence, mid-thought. It arrives without warning. It leaves no explanation. And for just a moment, it reminds us of how small we are and how connected to sky, to story, to one another. So, as you rest now, let these ancient myths settle gently around you, not as history, but as poetry. Imagine yourself high on a mountain, watching the clouds roll in. You feel the air shift, the charge rise, and then light, not to frighten, but to speak. The language is old, but it still echoes. And as lightning continues to return to those sacred places again and again, so too does our wonder. Let that wonder carry you into sleep now, wrapped in starlight, cradled in myth, glowing with gentle questions. And next, we'll lift our gaze even higher to where lightning dances above the storms, in colors rarely seen by night. Let's drift now into the future, but gently. No rush, no alarm, just a quiet look into how we're learning to read the signs, to listen a little earlier to the sky's electric whisper. This is the soft science of predicting lightning. And while we can't yet say exactly where every bolt will land, we're getting closer, not through control, but through understanding. Let's begin with the clouds. When meteorologists look to forecast lightning, they don't search for the bolts themselves, but for the conditions that make them likely. It starts with moisture, instability, and lift. 3 gentle ingredients that build tall clouds, the kind that swell like towers and bloom like slow explosions. These are cumulonimbus clouds, the homes of lightning. Radar helps us see inside them, measuring their height, their growth, and the tiny particles within. The taller and more turbulent the cloud, the more likely it is that charges are separating, positive rising, negative sinking, preparing for that quiet imbalance that invites a spark. Then come the satellites, floating above, watching from space. Some carry special sensors designed to detect the infrared glow of storm tops, or the flicker of lightning within the clouds themselves. They can see storms where we cannot, over oceans, through night, and across vast, quiet landscapes. The GOES-R series, for instance, carries a geostationary lightning mapper, an eye that watches every flash in the Western Hemisphere, tracking lightning in real time from thousands of miles above. Down on Earth, lightning detection networks do the same. Hundreds of ground-based sensors listen for the electromagnetic signal sent out by every bolt. The moment lightning strikes, it sends out a radio wave, a ripple of energy moving through the atmosphere. These sensors detect that wave, triangulate its origin, and place a mark on the map. Flicker, another strike, another signal. In just seconds, we know exactly where it occurred. And as patterns form, clusters, lines, growing storms, forecasters begin to sense where the next flicker may arrive. It's not guessing, it's listening. And recently, even artificial intelligence has joined the effort, sifting through years of data, learning the subtle signs that come before the light. Changes in cloud brightness, shifts in wind, faint electrical signals picked up by delicate instruments, all of it quietly building toward a moment of release. And through this soft science, warnings are issued earlier. Flights are rerouted with care. Events are paused not in fear, but in peaceful anticipation. Forecasting lightning is never perfect. The sky has its secrets. But every year, we listen better. We watch more patiently. We learn not just how lightning moves, but how it prepares. So, as you rest tonight, imagine those tools scattered across the world. Tiny ears listening to the air, tiny eyes scanning the clouds, gently whispering, soon, there may be light. And from here, we move into a rarer story, one that science still can't fully explain. A visitor that glows, floats, and fades. Let's step softly now into one of the most mysterious stories the sky has to offer. Not a strike, not a flash, but a floating sphere of light. This is ball lightning, a quiet curiosity, a glowing orb, a phenomenon seen, but rarely understood. And though it's been witnessed for centuries, it remains, even today, a mystery wrapped in wonder. Let's explore it gently. Ball lightning appears as a glowing sphere, anywhere from the size of a marble to a beach ball. It may hover for just a few seconds or drift slowly for longer. Some say it floats just above the ground. Others describe it rolling along fences, passing through windows, or disappearing with a soft pop. Its color can vary: white, blue, orange, or green, always faintly radiant, like the ember of a dream. It often shows up during thunderstorms, but not always where you'd expect. Sometimes indoors, sometimes far from the main flash. Its arrival feels unreal, and for many, unforgettable. Over the centuries, stories of ball lightning have circled the globe. In 1638, worshippers in Devon, England, reported a glowing orb entering a church during a storm, floating silently before exploding near the altar. Pilots in World War II spoke of Foo Fighters, mysterious lights that danced alongside their aircraft, never striking, just following, watching. Even Nikola Tesla, the great experimenter of electricity, claimed to have seen ball lightning in his laboratory. But what is it? Science still doesn't know for sure. Some theories suggest it's a plasma, a hot ball of ionized gas, formed by the intense energy of a lightning strike. Others propose microwaves, burning silicon, or even quantum vortices. Each idea brings us a little closer, but none fully explains what witnesses describe. And so, ball lightning floats between science and story. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't strike. It simply exists, briefly, then fades. A light that doesn't seek attention, but leaves behind awe. You might imagine it now. A storm passes. The air is thick with charge. And then, out of stillness, a sphere of light appears. It moves slowly, as if carried by thought. It flickers softly, as if remembering something, and just as quietly as it came, it vanishes. There's something gentle in that. Ball lightning isn't loud. It doesn't demand answers. It reminds us that even in a world of measurements, some things still float just beyond reach. So, as you fall asleep tonight, you might imagine such a light drifting through the clouds, a soft orb glowing above the trees, curious, quiet, and untethered. It does not need to explain itself. It just moves and fades, like a dream between one thought and the next. Let yourself drift with it now, into the glowing unknown. And when you're ready, we'll rise together into the upper reaches of the sky, where colours appear that few have ever seen. Let's return now to where we began. Not with urgency, but with softness, to the quiet question that sparked this entire journey. Why does lightning return to the same place again? And more than that, what draws it back? We've wandered through so many skies since then, followed bolts from mountain peaks to rooftops, from floating towers to drifting clouds. We've explored the invisible breath of the atmosphere, the shapes of storms, the rhythm of electric fields. And now, as we near the end, we gently gather all the threads together. Because the answer is not complicated, it's quiet, and it lives in patterns. Lightning comes again because the conditions invite it. Tall places, sharp tips, open fields, warm lake air, cool winds, they all create tiny pathways of preference. The stepped leader doesn't choose with mind or memory, but it responds. It reaches for the easiest path, the most open, the most conductive, the most familiar. And once it has followed that path, it's likely to return, again and again, just like rivers carve valleys, and wind finds the same bend in the hill. Lightning, too, finds its way back. There's something beautiful in that. It reminds us that nature doesn't forget. It simply follows what feels right, what flows, what welcomes. A tall tower with a lightning rod becomes a regular destination. A mountain peak, untouched for centuries, draws storm after storm, not in anger, not in punishment, but because it stands there, open to the sky. And so, when lightning comes again, it is not a surprise. It's a return. It's a balance. Revisited. A conversation continued. And we, as quiet observers, can learn from that rhythm. We don't need to fear it. We can understand it. We can build with it in mind, create tall things that welcome the charge and pass it safely to the ground. We can rest inside, knowing that the path lightning takes is rarely random and often remembered. There's comfort in that, because in a world that sometimes feels unpredictable, lightning teaches us that even the wildest things follow patterns of peace. It's not just about where the spark begins, but about where it finds rest. And now, as we breathe in one more time, we prepare to close this journey not with an answer, but with a thought, a poetic truth carried by every cloud, that perhaps the sky remembers. And now, dear listener, we've arrived at the edge of the story, a story told in sparks and shadows, rumbles and silence, a soft journey through clouds and charge, through towers and trees, through myth and science. And here, at the end, we return to an idea we've carried all along, a gentle possibility, that the sky remembers, not with words, not with thoughts, but with rhythm, with quiet returns. Lightning is drawn to places that receive it easily, tall peaks, lonely trees, open waters, structures built to meet the storm. And when it comes once, it often comes again. The physics are simple, but the feeling is not. There is something more in that repetition, a kind of quiet memory held by the atmosphere, a pattern of return that feels not random, but familiar. You might think of it like this. The sky does not think, but it responds. It listens to the shape of the earth. It feels the tug of electric fields. It notices the ease of certain paths and follows them, like a footfall on a well-worn trail. Each strike is a connection. Each return is a recognition. And so, over time, some places become sacred to lightning. Not cursed, not doomed, just known. The Empire State Building, Pikes Peak, a field behind your childhood home, a tall pine by a quiet lake, touched more than once, not in punishment, but in pattern. The sky remembers in movement, in balance, in flow. And in that remembrance, we find poetry. We find comfort in knowing that even nature's wildest dance follows a choreography older than memory. You might picture the sky now, swirling with clouds, its breath held, its energy quietly building. And far below, a hill, a tower, a spire, waiting, not afraid, not calling, just open. And when the lightning comes again, it's not to disrupt, it's to complete, to restore, to return. As you rest tonight, perhaps you'll carry that image with you, a moment suspended in silver, where sky and earth meet again, just as they have before. You are part of that rhythm too. We all are, breathing, listening, remembering. Let that final thought settle into you, like the hush after thunder, like the glow after light. The sky remembers, and now you may rest beneath it. And as we reach the end of our exploration, I hope this journey brought you a quiet sense of wonder, a soft curiosity about the sky, and the tender electricity that moves through it like a sigh. We've wandered through clouds, listened to thunder, watched lightning return, not with fear, but with grace. And maybe now, somewhere between the science and the stillness, you've found your own moment of calm. May the peaceful rhythm of returning lightning stay with you, soft, silent, glowing just behind your eyes as you drift. If these gentle meteorological stories bring you comfort, you're always welcome to like or subscribe, but only if it brings you ease. No pressure, no rush, just rest. You've done enough for today. You can let go now. Let your thoughts float like cirrus clouds across a quiet evening sky. Let your breath slow, your body soften, your world dim to a hush. Good night, peaceful dreams, and calm skies to you, always.